Being called a nobody by your mother-in-law at a family dinner in front of 20 people cuts deep. Having a judge use your maiden name in a court ruling that destroys her life, that's vindication. I'm Dr. Sarah Chen, 35 years old. 2 months ago, my mother-in-law, Patricia Montgomery, stood up at her annual family dinner, looked directly at me, and said, "Let's be honest. Sarah is a nobody. She came from nothing, married my son for our name, for our status. Without the Montgomery name, she'd still be nobody." 20 people heard it, including my husband, who said nothing, just stared at his plate like the China pattern was fascinating. What Patricia didn't know, what she deliberately ignored for 6 years, was that I'm not just Sarah Montgomery, I'm Dr. Sarah Chen, board-certified neurosurgeon, published researcher, patent holder. The nobody who just won a landmark medical malpractice case worth $8 million. A case where the defendant was Montgomery Medical Group, the practice Patricia's family owns, the practice her lawyer's son represents. The practice is about to pay me $8 million because they ignored Dr. Sarah Chen's medical opinion and a patient died. Yesterday, the judge read the verdict, used my full name, Dr. Sarah Chen, 23 times in the ruling. Never once said Montgomery. Patricia was in the courtroom, watched me destroy her family's legacy, watched the judge award me $8 million of their money, watched the nobody become the person who matters most. This is the story of how being underestimated became my greatest advantage. Before I tell you what the judge said about medical negligence, before you hear what Patricia offered to make this go away, smash that like button now. Subscribe for professional vindication stories. Drop your city. This is about expertise beating entitlement. 7 years ago, I was 28, finishing my neurosurgery residency at Johns Hopkins. Top of my program, 3 published papers, already developing a medical device patent that would later sell for $6 million. I met James Montgomery at a medical conference. He was 32, general practitioner at his family's practice, Montgomery Medical Group, third-generation doctor. Old money, Connecticut estate, country club, that world. We fell in love. He was charming, supportive of my career, proud of my achievements. We dated for a year. He proposed. I said yes. Then I met his mother, Patricia Montgomery, 63, never worked, professional society wife, descended from old money, married into more money. Her identity was entirely wrapped in the Montgomery name. At the first meeting, she asked about my family. "Where are the Chens from?" I said, "My parents immigrated from Taiwan. They own a restaurant in Queens." Her face changed. Subtle, but I saw it. Disappointment. She said, "A restaurant? How industrious." Translation, how working class, how immigrant, how beneath us. James and I got married anyway. I kept my name professional, Dr. Sarah Chen. I'd built my reputation under that name, published under it, earned my license under it. Socially, I used Montgomery, Mrs. James Montgomery, for his family's sake. Patricia hated that I kept Chen professionally. "You're a Montgomery now. You should use the family name. It carries weight." I said, "I'm a neurosurgeon. I built my career as Dr. Chen. That name carries weight too." She said, "The Montgomery name would carry more." For 6 years, every family gathering, every holiday, every interaction, Patricia found ways to diminish me, minimize my achievements, reduce me to James's wife. At dinners, when people asked about my work, she'd interrupt. "Sarah does some medical work, but we're so proud of James. He's keeping the family practice." When I won the award, chief resident, published in JAMA, patent approved, she'd say, "That's nice, dear. Did you hear James treated the governor last week?" When I became the youngest female neurosurgeon in my hospital at 32, she introduced me at a party as James's wife. She's a doctor too. Something with brains. Something with brains. I'm a neurosurgeon. I literally operate on brains. But to Patricia, I was nobody, a working-class immigrant's daughter who'd married up, who'd gotten lucky, who didn't belong. 2 months ago, that mentality reached its peak. 2 months ago, Patricia hosted her annual family dinner, the Montgomery family tradition. 20 people, extended family, James's siblings, cousins, aunts and uncles, the whole dynasty. I wore a professional dress, conservative, appropriate, had come straight from a 14-hour surgery, was exhausted but showed up because James asked. Patricia seated me at the far end of the table, away from James, away from the important family members, next to James's teenage nephew who spent dinner on his phone. During dinner, Patricia made her usual digs. Sarah works so much, never home. James practically lives like a bachelor. I ignored it. Usual Patricia behavior. Then came the moment that changed everything. Patricia stood up, clinked her glass. I'd like to make an announcement, a toast. Everyone quieted, looked at her. She said, I'm so proud of this family, of the Montgomery legacy, of what we've built, our medical practice, our reputation, our name. It means something in this community. People nodded, agreed. She continued, some people are born into legacy, others marry into it, and it's important to remember the difference. She looked directly at me. Let's be honest. Sarah is a nobody. She came from nothing. Immigrant parents who own a restaurant. No family name, no legacy, no status. She married my son for our name, for our connections. Without the Montgomery name, she'd still be nobody. 20 people, dead silence, staring at me. I felt my face burn. Humiliation, rage, disbelief. James said nothing, just looked down, spineless. Patricia continued, but we're generous. We welcomed her, gave her our name. She should be grateful. Remember where she came from. Remember that the Montgomery name is a privilege she didn't earn. I stood up, grabbed my purse, said quietly, excuse me. I left, drove home, cried for an hour. Then I got angry, and when I get angry, I get strategic. 3 years ago, something happened that I'd kept quiet about. Professional courtesy, family consideration, trying to keep the peace. Montgomery Medical Group, Patricia's family practice, had a patient, 62-year-old woman, severe headaches. They diagnosed tension headaches, prescribed pain medication, sent her home. She came back a week later, worse headaches, vision problems, confusion. They said stress, anxiety, prescribed anti-anxiety medication. She collapsed 2 days later. Brain aneurysm, massive. By the time she got to my hospital, it was too late. She died. Her family asked me to review the case, as a neurosurgeon, as an expert. I reviewed Montgomery Medical's records, found negligence, clear, obvious negligence. The symptoms were textbook aneurysm. They'd missed it. Twice. I wrote a medical opinion, detailed, professional, explained exactly how they failed, what they should have seen, what tests they should have ordered. I submitted it to the family's lawyer for their malpractice case. Then I told James, your family's practice misdiagnosed this patient. She died. I had to give an expert opinion against them. He was upset. You're testifying against my family's practice? That's a betrayal. I said, a woman died because they were negligent. That's not a betrayal. That's medical ethics. He told Patricia. She called me. How dare you testify against our family, against our practice? You're destroying our reputation. I said, your doctors destroyed a patient's life. I'm just documenting how. She said, we'll remember this. Family is supposed to protect family. I said, Patients are supposed to be protected by doctors. The case moved forward, slowly. 3 years of depositions, expert testimony, medical review. I testified, clearly, professionally, explained exactly how Montgomery Medical Group failed their patient. The defense was James's cousin, Marcus Montgomery, partner at a major firm. He tried to discredit me. Dr. Chen, isn't it true you have a personal grudge against Montgomery Medical Group? I said, no, I have a professional obligation to tell the truth about medical negligence. Isn't it true you're married to James Montgomery, son of the practice founder? Yes, that doesn't change the medical facts. Isn't it true you kept your maiden name professionally to distance yourself from the Montgomery family? I kept my maiden name because that's the name under which I earned my medical degree, my board certification, and my professional reputation, Dr. Sarah Chen. The jury deliberated for 2 days. The verdict came yesterday. Yesterday, County Courthouse, jury verdict in Chen versus Montgomery Medical Group. Yes, Chen, the patient's family's lawyer, used my expert opinion as the foundation of the case, named me in the case title, Dr. Sarah Chen's expert